10 Scary True Road Trip Horror Stories. Story 1. Abandoned Gas Station, West Texas. Rule number 1 of driving through West Texas at night. Never stop at a gas station that looks abandoned. My coworker and I were on a late-night drive through West Texas, miles and miles of empty highway. Nothing but desert and darkness. Out there, even the major highways feel like the end of the world. The fuel light came on, and after 40 minutes of praying for a gas station, we finally saw a faded sign. GAS 2 miles. We pulled in and instantly felt something was off. No cars, no lights, just a flickering open sign that definitely shouldn't have been on. I stepped inside the store and froze. There were dried blood streaks on the floor and bloody handprints smeared along the counter. Shelves knocked over, silence so thick it felt alive. Just then, we heard a car door outside. We looked out the window. A completely unmarked black sedan was parked beside a snowplate sand. Inside, I could clearly see a gun rack on the back seat. The driver's door slowly opened. We didn't wait. We sprinted to our car, floored it, and didn't look back until we were miles down the highway. I still don't know what happened there, but someone definitely wasn't supposed to survive that night. Story 2. The creepy town in West Virginia. Some towns aren't on any map, and there's a reason they stay hidden. My friend and I were driving through West Virginia during fall break. GPS suggested a short, scenic detour. Sounded cute. We took it. 10 minutes later, the mountains opened up, and we rolled into the creepiest town I've ever seen. Old houses with peeling paint, shattered windows. No kids, no noise, just people standing silently on their porches, staring at us as we drove by. No one waved, no one blinked, just empty eyes tracking the car. We stopped at a tiny gas station, the only building with lights on. Inside, an old man stood behind the counter without saying a word. When I asked if the pump worked, he leaned forward and said, "You don't want to be here after dark." I laughed nervously. "No, seriously, why?" He repeated it. Word for word, same tone. "Leave before the sun goes down." The sun was already setting. We rushed back to the car and that's when we noticed a rusted blue sedan behind us, following us. Exactly matching every turn. 5 miles, 10, 15. Then suddenly, the sedan turned off its headlights, just a dark shape tailing us in the mirror. When we finally got behind a semi-truck to lose him and checked again, the sedan was gone. No road he could have turned onto. No driveway, just vanished. I've never taken a scenic route again. Story 3. Creepy Pickup Truck, Pennsylvania. Some people don't follow you because they need help, but because they've chosen you. I was driving alone through rural Pennsylvania, just me, the radio, and fall leaves. Out of nowhere, a beat-up pickup truck pulled alongside me. The driver glanced. Overstocky guy. Shaved head, dead eyes. He motioned for me to roll my window down. Nope. I changed lanes. He changed lanes. I slowed down. He slowed down. For the next 15 minutes, he shadowed my car like he was waiting for something. I pulled into a gas station. So did he. I stayed inside the locked car and pretended I was on the phone. Another vehicle pulled into the lot, and the pickup guy suddenly stiffened, gave me the coldest stare, and drove off. When I later told the story to a friend, she paused and said, "That sounds exactly like Adam Leroy Lane, the highway killer. He had been active in that exact region during that exact year." I still get chills thinking about it. Story 4. Road Rage Car Chase. Road rage is scary, but when someone decides you are their target, that's a whole different level. I was driving with my girlfriend and our puppy when a white car sped up behind us, laying on the horn like we'd personally offended him. He swerved around us, cut us off, and slammed on his brakes. The guy leaned out his window, screaming, "Pull over, get out of the car." I ignored him. That made him angrier. He threw beer bottles at our car. Glass shattered behind us. My puppy started shaking. I tried random turns to lose him. He followed every single one. Left, right, back road, main road. Didn't matter. He was glued to us. I didn't go home. I didn't stop. I drove straight to the police station. As soon as he realized where we were heading, the guy whipped his car around and sped off into traffic. The officer on duty said, "Happens more than you'd think. Good call, not pulling over." I still wonder what his plan was. Story 5. The Mysterious Tool, Georgia. Not every stranger offering help has good intentions. Some come prepared. My car died outside a small pediatrician's office in rural Georgia. It was late afternoon and the parking lot was empty. A red pickup truck rolled in. The guy offered to help, said he knew a bit about engines. He seemed calm, friendly too, friendly. He went to the back of his truck to grab a tool, and right then, another truck turned into the lot. The first guy froze. His whole expression changed. Without a word, he slammed his toolbox shut, jogged back to his truck, and drove off so fast gravel flew everywhere. The second man turned out to be a mechanic. He jump-started my car and noticed something lying on the ground. "Hey, did this fall out of your stuff?" I picked it up. It wasn't a mechanic tool. It was a pair of razor-sharp surgical trauma shears, the kind EMTs and coroners use. That was the moment I realized. The first guy wasn't trying to fix my car. He was preparing for something else. Story 6. Church basement, Montana. A church is supposed to be the safest place in town, unless you're the only one inside. I was on a cross-country trip and couldn't afford a motel, so a tiny church in Montana let me sleep in their basement for the night. It was cold, dusty, and way too quiet, but free is free. Around 2 a.m., I woke up to the sound of slow, dragging footsteps above me. I figured it was the pastor. Then, the footsteps came down the stairs. They stopped right outside my door. The doorknob began to turn. Slowly, like whoever was doing it didn't want to wake me. I shot up and held my breath. The door cracked open, and a tall silhouette stood there, completely still, completely silent. I wasn't supposed to have company. The second he reached toward me, I shoved the door, locked it, and pushed a heavy table in front of it. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. In the morning, the pastor looked confused when I told him he wasn't even at the church that night. Story 7. Hitchhiker with a knife, upstate New York. If it's raining hard enough, kindness becomes a risk. It was the week of Thanksgiving. Cold, windy, and raining sideways. I saw a young guy hitchhiking completely soaked, so I pulled over. He climbed into the back seat without saying a word. 5 minutes later, he pulled out a large hunting knife and started cleaning mud off the blade with his sleeve. Not threatening, just casually, which somehow made it worse. Trying to stay calm, I said, "Hey man, you hungry? Want to stop for food?" He nodded. We stopped at a diner. He said nothing, walked inside, and while I went to the bathroom, he vanished. Left the knife, left the door swinging in the wind, left muddy footprints toward the woods. I got back in my car, locked the doors, and drove until the rain swallowed the road behind me. I've never picked up a hitchhiker since. Story 8. The Ghostly Hitchhiker, Nevada Desert. In the Nevada desert, at 1 a.m., you don't stop for anyone, not even the living. I was driving through the Nevada desert in the middle of the night, miles from the nearest town. Nothing but moonlight and endless sand. If you've ever driven that stretch, you know how isolating it feels. It's like the world just stops existing. Around 1:13 a.m., I saw a woman on the side of the road. completely alone, soaked from head to toe, clothes dripping like she'd walked out of a lake that didn't exist. She was shivering so hard, I could see her shoulders shaking from 50 feet away. She didn't wave me down. She just pointed toward. A broken-down car pulled off the shoulder, its hood up. I slowed down. Instinctively, something didn't feel right, but leaving a stranded woman in the desert felt worse. As soon as I stopped, she took a few steps back, into pitch-dark desert. I turned on my high beams. She was gone, vanished like she was never there at all. I grabbed a flashlight and checked the sand around the car. No footprints, no drag marks, not even tire tracks from the vehicle she supposedly arrived in. Just cold, desert air and silence. When I finally reached the next gas station, the attendant's face went pale when I told him. He said, "You're not the first one to see her. Nobody ever finds tracks. Nobody ever finds her car. Some folks say she died on that road years ago, and she still hasn't made it home." Story 9. The Vanishing Truck Stop, Oklahoma. If you ever find a truck stop in Oklahoma, with no cars and no people, don't go inside. I was driving across Oklahoma, low on gas, praying for a station, before I ended up walking 10 miles in the heat. Finally, I spotted an old-school truck stop faded sign. Rusty pumps, flickering lights. It looked abandoned, but the open sign was glowing. I pulled in anyway. I didn't have a choice. When I stepped inside the convenience store, the air felt cold, stale, like no one had opened the door in years. Shelves covered in dust, coolers empty, no clerk at the counter. But sitting right there on the register was a sticky note, handwritten, fresh ink. "Leave now." That was enough for me. I bolted back to my car butt when I looked up. The entire truck stop was pitch black, lights off. No glow from the sign, no pumps, nothing. Just empty land. As if the station had never existed. I turned the ignition and floored it. About 5 miles down the road, I passed a modern, well-lit gas station, the attendant told me. There hasn't been a truck stop on that stretch of road for over 30 years. Burned down in '92. I didn't argue. I just filled up and kept driving. But when I checked my back seat before leaving, the sticky note was still there. Story 10. The Shadow on the Highway, Montana. Some Montana highways feel endless. But sometimes you're not the one doing the watching. It was nearly midnight when I was driving through northern Montana on one of those long, empty highways where you can go 40 minutes without seeing another car. The moon was thin, the sky was cold, and I could hear gravel pinging under my tires. Out of nowhere, a figure appeared in the middle of the road. Just standing there, arms at their sides, not moving. I slammed the brakes so hard, my seatbelt locked. My car skidded and stopped just a few feet from the figure. And then they vanished. No walking away, no running, just gone. Like they'd melted into the darkness. My heart was still pounding when I checked the rear-view mirror. That's when I saw them. To faint glowing eyes, far behind me on the highway. Not headlights, just eyes, following my car mile after mile. Every time I looked back, they were still there. Same distance, same eerie glow. Like whatever it was, didn't need to run to keep up. There were no towns on that road, no houses, no animals big enough to produce eyes like that. Just empty Montana wilderness. Then, about 20 miles later, the eyes blinked and vanished. When I finally reached a small town, an old guy at a diner told me. That stretch, locals don't drive it at night. Folks see things they can't explain. Shadows, eyes, people standing in the road that aren't really there. I didn't drive back the same way, and I never will.